What's up guys, this is Tosh from TeamNameNegated, and today we're going to be coming at you with a Bujin deck profile. Bujin is a deck I've been playing for quite a while now, and I really enjoyed the deck. It plays really well, and this is a build that I've had for probably 3-4 months now, and I'm really enjoying it. So, without further ado, let's just get in it. So, first things first, we play 3 Bujin Yamato. You want to play this guy. 3 obviously is like the main monster of the deck. Pretty much everything in the deck revolves around him. So in your end phase, you can add 1 Bujin card from your hand, from your deck to your hand, and then ditch 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So you can have things like your crane, your turtle, your Mikazuchi if you so really wanted, and then ditch anything. So this is why this guy combos really well with other archetypes like Shadow. I noticed there was a Bujin Shadow build not long ago. Plus, this guy looks sick and all day. Then we have 2 Bujin Mikazuchi. Bujin Mikazuchi is really good for when your Yamato is destroyed. You can special summon him from your hand. And not only that, if you have him on board with Yamato, you can get your search for your Bujin Carnations. Or your Bujin Regalias, but we don't play Regalia. We only play Bujin Carnation. But it's a very good card. 1/9 beater, 2k when 10k is up. Yeah, just really like the card. Only used to play with 1, but he's pretty good now. 1 Bujin Arasuda. Arasuda isn't too great. I have him in here just for a couple of plays. Basically, when a card is banished, you can trigger his effect from the hand, so you can special summon in defense position. And he's a nice wee Tekken. I don't run him at any more than 1. In fact, when I go to side, he's usually the first thing that comes out because I rarely ever need him. But he's still a nice option to have. And then, running off the Bujin Beast Warriors, we have 1 Bujin Hirame. Hirame is really good when you have a Yamato in grave and you've got nothing else. You banish your Yamato, bring out your Hirame in attack position, just beat things down for 2k. Because she can't be normal summoned. She has a pretty decent effect where basically if your Bujin Hirame is destroyed by I think it's battle card effect, is it? Yeah, the battle card effect, and then sent from your side of the field to the graveyard. If both players have a hand, each player discards 1 card. So if you have like your turtle, and your opponent has like 6-7 cards in their hand, which I highly doubt they'll ever have, they can ditch 1 at the cost of you ditching something, which isn't too bad. It's still pretty good. She's also really good for quick rank 4 play if you really need it. Then next up we have 3 Bujin Crane. Crane is your honest of the deck. Crane's sick. I love Crane. It's probably one of your go-to cards when you go to search off Yamato's effect. Mainly because of defensive quality it has with its attack boost. Now, there's been a lot of confusion before I know this guy, where basically if you have Tenki out and you have like a Hirame or a Yamato out, then the argument is basically that it becomes 3/7, but it doesn't, because the ruling on this is it doesn't double your monster's attack, it just becomes double what its original attack is, so it just becomes like 3,600 in the case of Yamato, or 4k in the case of Hirame. It doesn't, and the boost from Tenki here are negated. So, brilliant card for baiting out your opponent to attack with their big monsters. Just drop that, they lose a monster. Pretty good. And then we have 3 Bujin Turtle. I play Bujin Turtle at 3 because I like it having the option to have it at 3, because I don't have any recyclability in the deck. Plus 3 negations is never a bad thing. Banish it from your graveyard to negate an effect that targets a Bujin Beast Warrior type monster. So when your Yamato's finished chained or compulsed, you can just go, okay, Turtle. Turtle was really good when the deck first came out, but now it's kind of hindered a little bit by this next guy, which is Hare. Hare is arguably the better of the 2, mainly because there's so many destruction effects in the game at the moment. with Necklace coming out, Turtle is going to be a little bit of a more used card, but here still puts on the work quite a lot of the time. 9 times out of 10 if I go first turn Yamato, which again 9 times out of 10 happens in this deck, you want to ditch here first and Andrew Crane, because it's probably the best play you have, probably the most defensive play you have, which to be fair the whole deck is defensive. Then we have the 1 Quillin. Quillin pops a face up card when you banish it when you control like a Yamato or a Susanoo. So yeah, it's all he's really good for, but again, he's a 1/6 beater, I suppose. So if you really need to, you can just poke for a game, or you know, other things. Then we have one of the TCG exclusive Bujin Sinew. Sinew is an Honors from the Grave. Basically, when a Beast Warrior or Bujin monster you control is battling, you can banish it from your graveyard, and it gains the attack of the attacking monster, but your opponent only takes half the battle damage. So it's a very, very good card. Again, it's like Crane, you can bait out your opponent's big monsters with it. Not only that, because it's activated from the graveyard, 9 times out of 10 your opponent will forget you have it, which makes it even better. Plus the artwork's pretty awesome. So I run it in there, just at 1. I never used to run it, but I realised how good it was like lately, and I fell in love with it. So on its spells now, we have 3 Fire Formation 10k, Beast Warrior deck, you want to dig through your metals as fastly as possible, as quickly as possible. 10k is the best way to do it. Pretty self-explanatory. 2 Pot of Duality, again, digging for your metals, your 10ks, anything that can help you go first turn your metal, here in the grave and Crane in the hand. You want. I used to run Pot of Duality at 3, but again, because this is the new format, I took it out for Snatch Steal, which we'll see later. And then we have 2 Bujin Carnation. Bujin Carnation is an amazing card, especially when you top deck this, because your opponent just, like, I've made people scoop because I've top decked this card, because it's so good. Basically, you can when your opponent has a monster on board and you don't, you can target 1 Bujin monster that's banished and 1 Bujin monster that's in your graveyard, special summon them both. The condition is you can only summon a Beast Warrior wing. I think it's a Beast Warrior, or Beast Warrior wing Beast monster from this. But with the amount of options you have in the extra deck, you're not going to be tight for options at all, which makes the card even better, because you have you can go from having a completely clear field to top decking this to having like a Susanoo or a Constellar Mega or something on board, and 9 times out of 10 if you've got a Susanoo and your graveyard's still full, your opponent doesn't really have a way around it, and if it's still your turn, you can just Susanoo, anything in the game. So yeah, Susanoo. I fucking hate my puns. 3 Kaiser Colosseum. First of the floodgates we run. Kaiser is amazing in this deck. Putting out a Yamato with this really pisses off your opponent. Putting out a Yamato with 2 of these pisses off your opponent even more. So that's all the better reason to play it. And then rounding off the spells, we have just some staple stuff. We have 3 MST, back row hate. Bujins don't necessarily hate back row, but getting rid of it's never a bad thing. 1 Snatch Steal, again, new format. Snatch Steal is an amazing card. Personally, I hate this card. When it's used against your opponent, it's amazing. When it's used against you, you want to punch your opponent in the face. That's what makes this card good, and that's why it was banned in the first place. Personally speaking, in April, I really hope this gets banned again, because it's such a dirty card. And then 1 Soul Charge. Now, Soul Charge isn't necessarily needed in this deck, but it's really good for going for your push plays. It's the only thing in this deck that really allow that you really need to special summon with, which is why we can run we can main deck Vanities, we can main deck Pot Duality, and not have the deck hindered. But Soul Charge again is pretty much the monster reborn of the format. It has been for a while now. I don't think it's been hindered at all by getting limited a couple of formats ago. But I don't necessarily like the card, but I don't necessarily hate it. I think it's useful in some situations, I think it's terrible in some situations, but you got to do what you need to do, and it can get you game. Okay, so we're looking at the traps now. We have 3 Royal Decree. Negates all trap cards in the field. Absolutely amazing. I have a mixture of rarities. I don't know why. I've got one rare and 2 commons. It bugs the shit out of me. So basically, if you flip the Royal Decree, you've got Kaiser face up, you've got Vanities face up. Negates your Vanities, but you can MST it just for a turn. Like, if you have MST set or MST in your hand, you can Royal Decree for a turn, attack, and then MST it in the end phase in response to Yamato's effect, and still have your Vanities live for next turn. It's absolutely amazing card. It's dirty as fuck. So yeah, that's why I love playing it. Then we've got 2 Vanities Emptiness. I love how this card looks in Super. I have to say that it's amazing. Vanities Emptiness, I love but hate. It's like, in my mind, it's like Snatch Steal. It's a very dirty card. I don't hope it gets banned or limited, but I can see it happening. A lot of players can, but at the same time, because it's got this new reprint, I don't see it getting hit anytime soon. Not unless there's any big deck that can really take advantage of it. Because Necros suffer to this. I think the Spirit Beast suffered to this. A lot of things in the meta suffer to Vanities, and that's what makes it a good card this format. And it makes it even better in this kind of deck because you never need to special summon, so you can easily have this face up. Not only that, because Yamato's effect sends from the hand to the graveyard, you don't get rid of this when Yamato activates effect in the end phase, which is even better. So I only play 2 copies of that. And then lastly, we have the 1 Compulse and the 1 Bottomless. I don't play Solemn Warning because I think it's terrible this format. Bottomless Trap Hole, again, not a lot, is a card that not a lot of players are playing. It's very unexpected. And Compulse is like my favourite staple trap. It's so good. The ability to bounce a monster back to the hand is, I think, amazing. Especially if they've had to go through all this work to get it back, to get it out in the first place. There's nothing funnier than just going like Compulse on a monster that they've just tried like the whole game to bring out. Oops. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck now, which is currently only at 14 cards. I'm still looking for a replacement for Arc. So if anybody has any ideas, let me know. So anyway, we have 1 Ragnar Zero. Ragnar Zero is amazing against the Fire Fist matchup and against the Mirror match. There's not really much else to say about this card, but I love it. I never used to play it, but I realised how much I loved it recently. Again, like Sinew and Mikazuchi, it's a really, really good card. We've got 1 Abyss Dweller for obvious reasons. 1 Castell, best rank 4 in the game right now. Better than Arc. If I had a second one, I would probably play this over Arc, but I don't have a second one. It's better sometimes to go into this rather than Susan with Bujin Carnation, because the ability to spin a monster is so much more powerful than attacking over all your opponent's monsters and clearing their board. Castell is an amazing card. It's one of the best rank 4s in the game. If anybody tries to tell you otherwise, they're wrong. We've got 1 Black Ship. Again, rank 4s, pretty standard. 1 Rhapsody of Berserk. This card is amazing. If you equip this to Sano, you can banish 2 at your opponent's graveyard. Use its secondary effect to equip it to Sano. It gains 1/2 attack, so then it's on 3/6. 3/6 over all your opponent's monsters. You can get game off this and Sasano easily, and not only that, it's really not that difficult to put it out. I just love the card. Then we have 1 Tiger King, all Beast Warriors. 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get the effect off to tribute all 3 fire formations, but I've done it once, I think. Once. Then we've got 3 Susan. I call him Susan because why not? Sasano is arguably the go-to rank 4 of the deck. You hardly ever want to overlay in this guy unless you're trying to push for game, but there are times where you can just use Yamato, Crane, Yamato here to get game really, really easily. Sasano can detach material and then search 1 from your deck to your hand, or search a Bujin and put it in the graveyard. It's either or, and you can only it's not one of these like you can only activate 1 effect per detach. But the effect where he can attack all of your monsters once per turn is pretty powerful. Not so much of this format, but against a lot of decks, it can be really good. Especially seeing as how he's a 2/4 beater. Generally one of my favourite cards. Then we've got one Bujin Kagasuchi and one Bujin Tsukiyomi. I don't necessarily go into these guys, but they can be handy. They do have their moments. Kagasuchi, I always mill 5 monsters, and I hate it. Tsukiyomi effect, I've gotten off quite a few times. The ditching your hand to draw 2 cards, really good. I don't think I've ever gotten off the effect to special the Bujin monsters from the grave. I think I've got it off like maybe once or twice, and it's always been Yamato. So Tsukiyomi is really good for recycling Yamatos. Kagasuchi is really good for protecting your Beast Warriors. So that's why I play them. There's just options. Then we've got one Gaga Cowboy. This card again is one of these ones that looks sick and ulti. Glad I have it. It's pretty standard. One Constellar Omega, all lights, Beast Warrior. Gets a boost from Tenki. Can't be unaffected by spells and traps. So yeah, and then finally one X-Ton. So yeah, that's it for the Bujin deck profile. Really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions or any comments you'd like to make of the deck, please leave them down below. It'd be really good to get some feedback. So yeah, this has been Tosh from TeamNameNegated, giving you the Bujin deck profile for the January 2015 format. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you later.